I feel like the last person left at a gathering. That finished a long, long time ago. Everyone I ever loved is gone. Everyone I ever argued with is gone too. My wife left first, then my friends, then eventually even the people I couldn't stand. And before they disappeared, every one of them asked me the same question. What's your secret, Arthur? And every time I gave the same answer. Clean food. And back then, I truly believed that. But after a while, I began to notice something strange. The people who ate perfectly, who walked for miles, who followed every rule, who measured every bite and treated health like a full-time job, they left just as quickly as the ones who didn't. So what was the real difference? I've had more years than most men get to sit alone with that question. And the answer, I can tell you now, was not sitting on my plate. Diet was never the real secret to a long life. When I was younger, I thought food could fix everything. Eat the right things. Avoid the wrong things. Stay disciplined. Stay clean. But after burying nearly everyone I loved, I started seeing life differently. My name is Arthur. I'm 105 years old. I drove a taxi for 41 years. I still wake up every morning at 6 o'clock and make my own coffee. I still sit in the same chair I've been sitting in for 47 years. The chair across from me has been empty for 11 years. I stopped moving it. People still come to see me sometimes. Reporters, doctors, neighbors, people who heard about the old man who somehow kept living. And they all want the same thing, the list. What do you eat, Arthur? How many hours do you sleep? Do you take supplements? Do you avoid sugar? Do you drink? So I give them the list. They write it down. They nod. They leave satisfied. I'll give you the list too. But if I only give you that, you'll walk away exactly like they did. Happy, thinking you got the secret, and missing the entire point. Because every one of them missed it. Nobody ever sat across from me and asked, Arthur, what kept you alive after everyone you loved was gone? Nobody asked, Arthur, how do you wake up after 105 years and still feel like the day matters? Those were the questions I waited for, but nobody asked them. They wanted my meals. They wanted my sleeping habits. They wanted numbers, rules, routines. But if sleep alone gave people more years, half the people I knew would still be here. Maybe you're waiting for the list too. So here it is. 2 eggs every morning fried in butter. Real meat twice a week. Vegetables from the ground. Bread. Water. Black coffee. No powders. No vitamins. And yes, I'll tell the truth. Sometimes I had a piece of chocolate after dinner. And a small whiskey on cold nights. I never starved myself. I never punished myself for enjoying something. The people who turned food into a religion, who counted every calorie, who felt shame every time they sat down to eat, most of them were unhappy. And unhappy people, from what I have seen, do not last very long. There was a doctor once. I can't remember the year exactly. It was a long time ago. He was young, sharp, very sure of himself. He looked at me and told me my cholesterol would probably take me before 60. I outlived him. I found out years later when I went to the hospital. Nobody knew what to say to me, so I said nothing. I just went home. Write the list down if you want. It's real. But what I'm about to tell you matters far more than any list. Food is only one piece of this puzzle. When I was still driving my taxi, I had one regular passenger for 4 years. Twice a week, same hospital. I never forgot his name, Dr. Bennett. He was a nutritionist. He wrote books. He gave lectures. That man knew everything about food. What to eat, what to avoid, how much, what time, which oils, which grains, which habits slowly killed you. I used to hear him on the phone in the back seat, teaching patients what to remove from their diet. I probably learned more in that taxi than most people learn in a classroom. One day I asked him, "Doctor, what's the secret to a long and healthy life?" He said, "Arthur, eat clean, sleep well, and avoid stress." I asked him, "Do you do all of that?" For a moment, there was only the sound of the engine. Then he said, "I eat clean, I sleep fine, but the stress part, I never learned how to handle that." Dr. Bennett died in his 70s. I drove his wife to the service. I still think about him. That man had the knowledge. He had the books. He had the rules. But the one thing eating away at him, he knew exactly what it was. He named it. He understood it. And still, he could not release it. If a healthy list was enough to keep a man alive, he would have lived forever. But it wasn't. The real answer was never on a plate. I understood that because of Clara. Clara and I were married for 58 years. Yes, 58 years. And I was a good husband in the ways people can see from the outside. I worked. I came home. I paid the bills. I didn't disappear. But she used to say the same thing to me, year after year. "Arthur, you're sitting right there in that chair, but your mind is still driving that cab. Come home now." I didn't understand it then. But what she said was part of the reason I made it this far. Because when I retired, I didn't know who I was anymore. For months, I just sat around. No shift, no route, no passengers, no one waiting for me. I would wake up, make my coffee, sit in this chair, and wait for something to happen. 1 month passed. Then 2. Same chair, same coffee, same silence. Clara would walk by and ask if I wanted more coffee. I'd say yes. She'd bring it. And that was the day. That was my life. I had become a retired man sitting still, waiting to go. And I'll tell you something I learned too late. If you have no reason waiting for you the next morning, then all you're really doing is waiting to leave. And the body hears that. The body starts preparing to do exactly that. One morning I walked out to the garden. I don't even know why. There was a weed growing near the tomatoes, so I pulled it. Then I pulled another, then another. 2 hours later, I was on my knees, my hands black with dirt, my lungs working hard. When I came back inside, Clara was standing by the door. She didn't say anything. She just looked at me. But I knew that look. It was the look of a woman who had been waiting, not for an hour, not for a week, for years. I had found something to do. I had gone after it. I was not just sitting there waiting to disappear anymore. Purpose doesn't have to be grand. It doesn't have to impress anyone. It only has to get you out of the chair. For me, it was the garden. When I turned 70, I started walking 20 minutes a day. I know every crack in that pavement, every corner, every fence, every sound. Those little routines kept me alive. If I had spent those years just sitting there, you would not be watching this video. Every day I gave myself a reason. Not a big one, a small one. Stopping to argue with the neighbor on the corner about football. Putting music on at 7 o'clock in the evening. Watching the sunlight come through this window at exactly 4 o'clock every single day, like clockwork. Small things, almost embarrassingly small, but they kept me here. Every morning I had a reason to stand up, and those reasons gave the day somewhere to go. The people I saw leave the fastest were the ones who retired from work and purpose at the same time. They simply sat down, and the body understood the message. Even with clean food in their stomachs, they faded slowly and quietly. Now comes the part I don't often say, the part that cost me the most. Clara passed 11 years ago. It will be 12 this October. After you live long enough, the years start folding into each other. That is one of the hardest parts of reaching this age. The morning after she died, I woke up at 6 out of habit. I went to the kitchen and made 2 cups of coffee. I placed them both on the table. Then I just stared at them for a long time. I couldn't drink mine. I couldn't, but I couldn't pour hers away either. So I left it there, and I sat with it. The coffee went cold. The light in the kitchen shifted. An hour passed, maybe more, and somewhere in that quiet I realized something. I was still breathing, still sitting, still here, and the day was not going to stop just because I wanted it to. The hours kept moving, so I stood up. I went to the garden. I pulled a few weeds. I walked my 20 minutes. Then I came back inside and called my son Michael. I didn't say much. We just talked. And in that ordinary, painful, unimpressive day, I found a small reason. Not a great reason. Not a beautiful reason. Just enough. That is the only real secret I have. Every day you have to find a reason. Some days that reason is tiny enough to fit inside your hand. My son Michael is 78 years old. He lives 40 minutes from here. Last spring he called and said he had been meaning to visit. Work was busy. He would come when things slowed down. I said, Michael, I am 105 years old. Come now or come when I'm gone. Your choice. He came that Saturday. We sat on this porch for 6 hours. He told me things he had been carrying for 30 years. I told him things I should have said when he was 40. Now he comes every 3 weeks. Every 3 weeks. Good people around you are not a luxury. They are part of staying alive. I know that now. And one more thing, because I am too old to lie. Part of living long is luck. My father lived to 94. My grandmother lived past 90. The body I was given had strong bones. I could sit here and tell you it was all discipline, wisdom, and intention. But that would only be half true. And half-truths are for people who still have something to protect. My name is Arthur. I am 105 years old. This morning I woke up at 6 o'clock. I made my coffee. I went outside to the garden for just a few minutes. I can't kneel the way I used to. I watched the light come in. I put on a record. I sat down in this chair. I looked at the empty chair across from me, and I said good morning to it, the way I do every day. Eat real food. Move every day. Keep people close. Find something, anything that makes the morning worth opening your eyes for. But more than all of that, stop just surviving your days. A man can reach 105 and still have checked out early if he spends all his years waiting for life to finally begin. The days are not blocking your life. The days are your life. And before you go, I want to ask you something. What is one small reason that still makes you get up in the morning? Write it in the comments because someone reading it may need that reminder today. And if stories like this make you think about life differently, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next one.